Hey Daniel, thanks for taking the time and speaking with us. We always appreciate it. I want to ask you about one of your teammates, Icky, who plays left tackle, plays left guard. Is a guy I'm sure you've gone up against several times in practice, and we've all seen what he does on Saturdays, just pancaking and smashing people. What's it like practicing against that guy every day? What kind of intensity does he bring to the practice field?
Perfect. The best, the most energy. We start off practice with our stretches, and all we hear is Icky legitimately scream at the top of his lungs to the point of exhaustion at the O line during a stretch. And Icky just in general just is a great kid that brings a lot of energy to the team. So going up against him has been a blessing. Just knowing that a guy like that, in my opinion, is obviously probably gonna make it to the next level, but also just constantly getting me better through his work ethic and preparation as well.
When you're not playing, or you're on the sideline and the offense on the field, do you catch yourself watching him sometimes to see if he to watch one of those pancake blocks he usually does on the field?
Most definitely. Iggy's like just that guy that he stands out, so you kind of are forced to kind of pay attention. So Iggy's one of those guys. Like I most definitely pay attention to when on the field.
Appreciate it, man.
David.
Hey, Daniel, how you doing, man?
Good on you.
So we were just talking to Tanner, who is going to be back this week. What does it do for your the mentality of your entire defense to have a player like him back?
I think it's just a great piece to have back. Obviously missed him for the first few games, obviously, but having him back kind of really just gives us more depth at that position, and more guys to kind of rotate and obviously keep more fresh legs in there as well. I think the great thing about like having Tanner, guy, not only is a vet, but he's a guy that obviously brings a lot of energy as well. And so having him back, as I think, has lifted up just the intensity and level of emotion being played with on the field from day-to-day practices, and hopefully it will carry into the game.
Gibby.
Yeah, Daniel, the way the offense is playing for you guys, do you feel a little more pressure on the defensive side to perform as well because the offense is doing so well? I know it's a team sport, but
there's always pressure on us to play well, but I think it's just looking past that and just kind of looking at playing complementary football the best to our ability each week in and week out. That really kind of just is what is more appealing to me when it comes to the offense. I think them doing well is just more than great. It just makes it better for us and easier for us. And I think it's just for us, so obviously as a defense to understand that and also pull our own weight on a consistent basis.
Yeah, it also seems like you guys are getting healthy at the right time too. 3 games to go, 3 winnable games. You got the bowl possibilities ahead of you. Just how exciting of a time is it for the defense? How you guys feeling knowing that you're getting healthy and heading into the stretch run?
It is more so about a matter of being focused, really, rather than kind of being focused on the guys being healthy. I don't think you're really focused on that initially. If guys not being healthy, is more so just kind of understand, okay, we gotta all do our part and prepare like we are starters. Be it if you're first, third, or even fourth string, it didn't really matter. But obviously, once again, guys being healthy has been beneficial. But I don't think that's really kind of been the reason why.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Daniel.
JB.
Hey, Daniel, thanks for taking out the time. My question for you today is you guys are going up against a quarterback, Malik Willis, who is very similar to the style that De'Aaron King showed you guys a few weeks ago. And obviously he put up some big numbers, and Malik kind of like follows that type of format. What did you learn from, that game against Miami that you guys can apply to containing Malik Willis when he shows up Saturday night?
I think just understanding his strengths and understanding, where his shortcomings come. And once again, just like any other, team and other quarterback, you obviously find the positives and negatives and try to exploit those negatives and limit those positives. So like with Malik, obviously we're well aware of his ability, both in the run game and the pass game. And I think our defensive staff has a great, game plan to obviously mitigate that.
If I can follow up with that, what are the negatives? Because his touchdown to interception ratio is like 15-1, and obviously he can run like the wind.
I can't tell you that now. That would spoil the whole preparation.
I respect that. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Mark Armstrong.
You were talking earlier about everybody says what a great guy Icky is, and then he obviously turns into a monster on the field. Who are some other guys on the team that are just kind of happy-go-lucky dudes, but you do not want to see their face across from you on the field?
Are you asking for both offensively and defensively?
Yeah, just whoever comes to mind.
Damn, Ali McNeil, CJ Clark, Speeds, Witt. Shoot, I can keep going if you want me to. Gibby. I think our whole line is guy you don't want to line up against, but you got to do it. I think it's no matter when you do, are you ready for it? So.
Is that a special characteristic to have, that you can just kind of transform yourself into a different headspace when you get on the field and become a different person competitively, or are all those guys kind of like that? Is that just a different facet of their self?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, there's some nice guys who play like nice guys on the field too, and then there's other nice guys that are able to transform themselves into a different headspace when they step between the lines and become,
I mean, once again, like it's a man's game. I really don't think you can be playing, especially in the trenches like that, if you kind of were a happy-go-lucky guy. I don't think happy-go-lucky guys make it too far at D-line. Usually, it's almost like that drill that like. This what made the basketball players, and you know exactly what drill I'm talking about. I think it's the same idea. You can't be a happy-go-lucky guy and expect to not, and expect to last on the, on the defensive or offensive line. You got to have that mentality and that ability to kind of turn it on and be that what.
Thank you.
JB, you have another one?
Yeah, I do. Thank you, Annabelle. I wanted to ask, just from a player's perspective, you guys are obviously one win away from bowl eligibility, but with how unorthodox this entire season has been, what do you guys care about being bowl eligible or even going to a bowl, like with still everything just kind of like being in flux right now or whatever, or what would be a higher priority for you guys to accomplish these last 3 games of the season?
The first goal is to beat Liberty. And I think, when people mention bowl eligibility, I don't ever like to look at that stuff because I view it as a distraction. It's kind of like, if you get so caught up in like the end goal, you forget about the steps. And so it's like, I don't like to focus on, okay, we're 1 away from being bowl eligible. So, I mean, I didn't even know that until you just mentioned. I thought it was 8 wins you needed to be bowl eligible, honestly. So like, that stuff, I really don't pay no mind until, it kind of is now at the forefront of things. So, I really just I think we got to just keep going with what we got, despite the situation. Once again, COVID-19 is already, if you haven't learned anything, you got to learn, you got to prepare for everything, in 2020. So for me, my goal right now is still, go out there this Saturday and, compete and beat Liberty.
Does anybody else have anything for Daniel?
I got one more, Annabelle.
All right, go ahead.
Putting the focus back on Liberty, them coming in with an undefeated record, number 21 ranking, I believe it is, all the hype they got going on with their head coach and their quarterback. How good would it feel, to get a win, to get a non-conference win like this late in the season, considering what, normally you guys are playing an out-of-conference opponent during this time of the season, and they're considered a cupcake. This ain't a cupcake. So, what would it mean for you guys to get a win over these boys on Saturday night?
I think that's the first problem. Most people obviously always view, teams in college ball and attach too much, attention to like the division, the conference they play in. It's college ball. Anything can happen. So it's like, I know the schedule may have seemed like a cupcake to everyone else, but once again, to me, it's still, a game. And I give all my opponents respect that, is deserved, because in my head, we're all part of the 1% of people who are able to do what we do. Not many people in this world can obviously come out here and play ball on Saturday, like we do. So it's like you can't, knock somebody or any team, that's able to do that, but just because they aren't able to do it maybe as well as you can. So for me, it's like Liberty is obviously a team that obviously I'm well aware of, like their ability, their capability to play the game, and I obviously respect them a lot. So, them being unranked or being ranked this late in the season, or them being a ranked team this late in the season we may have not foreseen, is not that doesn't change my outlook and way to approach them.
Thank you for the candor, sir. I appreciate that.
All right, Daniel, as always, you're awesome.